Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
Thanks for joining us on episode 29
of Tesla Time News
on Now You Know. All right, Jesse.
8.1 is coming.
Wait, so what is it, 8.1?
8.1 is the new version of software for the car. It'll have some new cool features, is what Elon tells us, and it should be coming out on the 28th or 29th of March.
Awesome. So that should be today or tomorrow, huh?
That's right.
All right, that's super exciting.
It should have the new web browser kernel. So basically, if you've tried to use the web browser on your Model S or X, you know that it's very slow.
It's
and
pretty lame.
Supposedly, this new kernel is going to be a lot faster. The other big thing for Autopilot 2 users is that right now when you're using an Autopilot 2 car, it's not quite as good yet as Autopilot 1. You're limited in speed to 50 miles an hour.
A bunch of features. So now we're going to be up in parity. So
That's
finally,
what they say.
We've had Autopilot 1, and now Autopilot 2 has slowly been catching up, and now it's overtaking it, and soon it'll be able to drive itself. It'll be amazing.
I know. So this is very exciting. We can't wait to hear about what the features are.
All right, so Adam Jonas is a Morgan Stanley stock analyst.
Okay.
And he is pegging Tesla at 305.
Nice. Hey, finally a positive stock analyst.
Positive stock analyst. And the reason for this is because he thinks that the Model 3 is going to be an order of magnitude safer than other cars on the road. So an order of magnitude means 10 times more safe.
Wow.
So the reason for this is obviously the autopilot features. Basically, I mean, if you have more inputs to the car, cameras, sensors, everything, you're going to have a safer car because it's going to be able to, the things that we've been saying.
So we're not just talking about if you're unlucky enough to get into a crash.
Right.
What he's saying is
we're not even talking about airbags, seat belts, crumple zones and stuff like that, which
are important.
Which are important, and according to Elon, has been doing pretty well.
Right. No, we're talking about whether the car will even get into an accident to begin with.
Right. It's going to be 10 times more safe because you're going to not get into an accident. The car will avoid the accident for you or mitigate the damage.
And so what Adam Jonas is pointing out is that many of the people who've been talking about the Model 3, is it going to come out on time? Is it going to ramp up fast enough? Haven't even been talking about what really matters to most car buyers, which are things like price and safety.
Price and safety.
And so we all know about the good things it's going to have, the range, the supercharger network, but I think what he's pointing out is that when a buyer is potentially going to buy the car and they're thinking, wow, this car is not only safe if I get into an accident, but it's far less likely that I will get into an accident.
Right. It's going to
I want that car.
It's going to protect me and my family. It's going to protect everyone that I care about that is getting in my car.
Exactly. So I think that's why he's pegging the stock to go up even higher, because he's saying there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want this car once they find out how safe it really is.
Right. I mean, Tesla is under the radar. We've always been under the radar. Yep. This is why we do this show, is because we want to tell people about it. But, as people find out more and more about it, and find out the true information about it, it's like, wow, you're just impressive.
All right, Jesse, you love to see fast Teslas, don't you? This next story is awesome. It's a P100D Ludicrous, which is breaking the quarter-mile record again.
Wow.
How did they do it?
How did they keep doing this? I know how.
You know how.
So, basically, Elon had tweeted, you can increase the performance of your Model S if you remove the frontliner.
The frontliner?
Yes. So this is it's kind of really weird looking after you do this, but you know how you open the frunk and it's this nice storage compartment.
Yep.
If you rip out all the nice
plasticky stuff,
compartment.
The liner, right?
Yeah. It's
looks
a weight
like
reduction.
It looks like this.
It looks like the inside of a regular car. Because I mean, there's wires and all sorts of stuff around there.
As he pointed out, you're allowed to do that and still be street legal.
Right. So this is a street legal mod that allows you to make your P100D Ludicrous even more powerful.
And Elon tweeted that you'll be able to do that at a service center
for free.
For free, they'll do that work for you if you want to go wicked fast. And it worked. They got down to a 10.44 on the quarter mile. That's unbelievable.
It's blisteringly fast. For a production car, it's unreal.
Yeah. So you have to check out this video if you love to see speedy Teslas, because it is really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Why do we even bother having an EPA if Scott Pruitt is going to say the things he said? So I'm just really pissed off. He wrote this op-ed to USA Today, and he said the following. Auto manufacturing continues to be one of the driving forces in the American economy, accounting for 3% of our GDP. 45 states have 10,000 or more auto jobs. Automakers and their suppliers employ more than 3.5 million Americans. The American people clearly want it to stay that way. President Trump promised to fight to keep auto manufacturing jobs here in the United States, and he has asked his entire cabinet to help. Department of Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao and I, as administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, took steps to help. We have announced that we will revisit the previous administration's rule that finalized standards to increase fuel economy to the equivalent of 54.5 miles per gallon for cars and light-duty trucks by model year 2025. EPA will work with our partners at DOT to take a fresh look. This thorough review will help ensure that this national program is good for consumers and good for the environment.
Okay, whoa. Good for consumers. That is not what the EPA is about.
No, it's not.
It's called the Environmental Protection Agency.
Right.
It's not called the Consumer and Environmental Protection Agency.
Exactly.
How can you work for an agency? I mean, that's like if I'm a police officer, but, I knew that you were speeding, but, you had to get to a job interview. Well, I want everything to be good for consumers and workers and everything like that. So why don't you go ahead, keep speeding, because you're late, whatever. I'm so sorry that you're late, it's just like, come on.
It is. They claim that only 3.5% of the current vehicles will be able to meet 2025 emissions rules without significant updates. So basically what they're admitting is if we don't update cars, we're not going to make the standards that we should be making.
Right.
But we don't want you to do that because it would cost too much money.
All right. So
the good news here.
Some good
there's
news.
a silver lining.
Yes.
And that is that the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, which we talk about a lot, they voted on Friday to continue implementing higher emission standards. And they have hired Eric Holder, who was the former U.S. Attorney General, to be their attorney, basically, because they're preparing for a fight. They know that they're probably going to have to fight the feds here, and they've got some good help on board to help, I think, beat them on legal grounds. And the good news is that there's 12 other states that are part of CARB, Massachusetts being one of them, and they're also going to join in to help fight the federal government. So that's good news, because even if the CAFE standards are lowered and the emissions, are allowed to be worse, CARB has a higher standard. And if you're going to make a car in this country, you know that it has to sell in California.
Right. And all these other states, these are highly populated states.
Right. So you can't just come out with a car and go, oh, well, screw you, CARB. You have to follow CARB. And so if CARB is going to stick to the higher standard, that pretty much means that the EPA doesn't matter what the EPA does.
That's true. Thank goodness for this, because, that could be pretty scary.
And here's a little quote from the director of the New York Department of Environmental Conservation. He says, "We've come a long way together, and we're with you, and we believe in what you're doing."
So he's talking to the California.
He's talking to CARB. He's saying, we're with you. We're going to back you. Don't worry. So we've got to stick together, states.
Yeah. That is what's great about America.
That is what's great about America.
You have the federal government, but you also have the state governments.
That's right. One of the arguments that Scott Pruitt made that this EPA shouldn't be too strict here is that it's going to really impact American automakers. It's going to make it really hard for them to put out cars that can meet these standards.
It's funny because, I know of a car manufacturer that will not be affected at all.
Really?
Yeah.
It's got some kind of letter that says it doesn't have to comply?
No. They're just already about 12 times better in terms of their fleet emissions. Yeah.
So it's an American car company that's already way above the standard?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. So that would be Ford or
Nope.
GM?
Nope.
I don't know of any other American car companies that...
Well, they're small right now, but they're growing.
Oh, small and growing. Nothing rings a bell.
Tesla.
Oh, that's right. All their cars already meet CAFE standards and exceed them.
And
so it can be done.
They can be done.
Interesting.
Yes.
Time for some solar stories.
Solar.
The Algerian Ministry of Energy will be putting out to bid 3 large-scale PV projects that'll total over 4 gigawatts.
Wow.
They're going to be built in the northern part of the country. That is a lot of power.
That is a huge amount of power. So there's going to be 3 giant solar
1.3 gigawatts each.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that could be very exciting news, because that would make it the largest solar project to date when those go online.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then in other solar news, there's this Taiwanese company called Big Sun, and they have invented a PV tracker device. So basically, when you set up your solar panels outside, you've seen the ones that kind of follow the sun in one axis.
Yeah.
Well, these guys, their solar tracker can move in 2 axes.
Oh, to follow the sun as it goes across the sky.
And the good news about that is they just did a test from December through February.
Okay.
They set up 2 identical systems, solar panels, inverters, all that. One system had a typical just track the sun in 1 axis. Their system followed it in 2 axes. And guess what? Their system was 44% more power.
Wow. 44%. That's like having a 44% more efficient panel.
Yeah, or 44% more space, or 44% more money. So basically, this could be a great big boon to big solar farms that can put these in because it's not much more technology. It's just another motor, another axis.
True.
That will give you a lot more bang for the buck.
Right. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's an investment, and it can certainly save with space and other associated factors.
Technology!
It's pretty sweet.
So here's a new photo of the Gigafactory. This is showing you the latest sections that have been completed. There's 4 sections that you can see now. We're comparing these 2 pictures here from January, this one now in March. And so 4 sections have been completed. The current structure has 1.9 million square foot footprint. 4.9 million square feet is operational because there's multiple floors under there.
Wow.
And that only represents 30% of the total finished Gigafactory. So even though this building looks ginormous, it's not even close to being done.
That's amazing. But the amazing part is it's not just a construction site. They're making things in there.
Yeah, no, they're middle of making the batteries and parts of the car right now.
That's unbelievable.
The Gigafactory uses a closed-loop water supply system, which has 6 different treatment systems to efficiently recirculate about 1.5 million liters of water, which is about an 80% reduction in fresh water compared to a standard process.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yep, and the company aims to use 100% sustainable energy at the factory. The primary source will be a 70 megawatt solar array that will be installed on the roof of the building, and right off to the side, there'll be a solar array on the ground. No word yet on when they're going to start construction on those projects, but it's been speculated that the company is waiting for the start of production at the Buffalo plant, now called Gigafactory 2, in order to use those solar panels for the project.
Nice. Awesome. All right, so speaking of Tesla buildings, Tesla has just leased 3 new warehouses.
Okay, where are those?
Those are about 20 miles northeast of the Fremont factory.
Oh, so close to the Fremont factory.
Yes, this is 1.3 million square feet.
Wow.
And this is in Livermore, California. This lease is the largest lease signed in San Francisco East Bay history.
Wow. Now, why does Tesla need this warehouse space?
It could be to store their batteries. After you make the batteries, they need some time to kind of cure.
Oh, right. They need like 90 days.
Yeah, something like that. So you need a warehouse because now that they aren't shipping them over from Asia,
Japan, right?
Yeah, it used to take so long, and then they'd get them and they'd be ready. But now you might need to do that. They could just be storing parts, cars. I mean, they could be doing all sorts of things.
So it's a good sign because it means that they need space to store Model 3 stuff.
And this is about 25% the size of the Fremont factory.
Oh, okay. Wow. So they need
it's
space.
all space.
Wow.
So I mean,
This is exciting news. That means that
super
exciting things are about to happen.
Yeah.
We're really ramping up here. It shows you the scale that the Model 3 is going to be. We have trouble picturing that because up until this point, they have not produced this many cars.
Right. It's just been a very small scale business, but I know
It's
it's
getting
going
big.
to be huge.
Talk about something that could be huge. What about an electric airplane?
How do you do that?
I don't know how you do that, but I do know that there's a company called Wright Electric. They're a British startup, and they have designs here for a 150-seat plane. What I think is interesting about this plane is that Elon has also come up with his own plans for an electric plane, and he said that basically you can do this with batteries once you get to the 400 watt-hours per kilogram weight density.
Okay, but right now we're at about a 250 watt hour per kilogram weight density.
Maybe not quite there yet,
Yeah.
and at least according to Elon's calculations. But this company seems to think that they might be able to do it. And if they could do it, even though the range of this plane wouldn't be astronomical, I think it's about 300 miles of range, most flights, I learned, are short flights. And so this would take over the need for the 737, which does a lot of just kind of short flights, like if you're flying from New York to DC, something like that. So this could be really cool because fuel from planes is a huge emitter of carbon dioxide.
It's very big. Talking about interesting electric vehicles.
Yeah?
You've heard of the Zero motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
So their drivetrain is now part of the Gratis X1.
What's the Gratis X1?
It's the world's first electric stand-up personal watercraft. So This thing is like a jet ski that you stand on.
Oh, okay.
And it's all electric.
Nice.
Battery electric. It's about 18 grand.
Okay, that's a lot.
Range, which is a lot. But I suppose if you're buying a jet ski anyway, you may as well get a fully electric one.
Right.
They say that it has about a 30 to 45 minute run time. It can go 46 miles an hour.
Ooh, that's fast.
Which is very
on the water.
On the water, which is very fast. It has a 6.5 kilowatt hour lithium ion liquid cooled battery pack.
Neat.
So I mean, this looks
and so
really
it's
cool.
Probably a lot quieter than a standard ice.
Yeah, you don't have any of the gasoline fumes.
Oh,
you don't have any of the noise.
That's nice.
You don't have, a motor that's constantly running
and vibrating.
Yeah, you don't have this engine because it's a safety hazard. When you fall off,
it has to keep running.
The engine has to either stop, you have to
Right.
kill the motor, or it has to, and if it doesn't do that, like, it's a danger.
That's funny.
So having an electric thing, having an app-controlled watercraft is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Hey, Elon tweeted another thing this week. It had nothing to do with the cars, but it did have to do with the solar roof. He says that orders for the solar roof will open up in April.
Wow. So if you have been waiting for this,
Me.
Yeah. April. That's when it's coming.
That's very exciting.
It's
and
very
so
exciting.
we're probably looking at a summer launch, but it looks like if you want to get on that list, April's when it opens up.
All right.
So I know you like drone ships. Mm-hmm. I know you like robots.
I love both things.
What if you put robots on a drone ship
To catch rockets?
to catch rockets from space?
Wow.
I know, that's just a science fiction idea of mine.
Right.
It'll never come true.
That's amazing you can say that and mean it.
Yeah, so these are pictures of...
These are some spy shots. These are like...
Yeah, this is a
I hope we don't get in trouble for showing these.
I know. Redditor Riddle THC released these spy shots of what appears to be what is called Optimus Prime. I guess that's what the secret
what they're
code
calling
name
it.
is calling it.
Yeah.
It's some kind of robot that sits on the, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. This is the drone ship in Florida that goes out and catches the robot, the rockets as they
That's
land.
what they land on, yeah.
And this new robot will be used after a rocket lands on the pad. It'll motor out under the booster and then raise up 4 hydraulic arms and latch onto the booster legs.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And then in addition to this story, SpaceX will be moving into a new 53-square-foot facility in Port Canaveral, Florida on April 1st. They just signed a 5-year lease. And what's going to happen at that location is that they're going to refurbish rockets so they don't have to send them down to Texas after they've landed each time.
So why are they ramping up all this? Like, why are they getting robots and buildings in Cape Canaveral?
Well, SpaceX Senior Director of Launch Operations Ricky Lim said that the company plans to launch and land at an extremely high rate going forward.
Wow, so this is amazing because they can just land a rocket, refurbish and refuel, and launch it again. They don't have to build a new rocket every single time they want to ship stuff into space.
This is just, do you understand what's going on here? Elon not only figured out how to land the rocket and all that, and then he's like, well, how about if we had a robot that captured, helped...
10, 20 years ago, people were not even talking about this. This was not even something that you could, talk about. People would laugh at you with this idea. It's just...
I never even saw it on, a Star Trek episode. This is just so out there.
Right. But, he's making it work, and it's amazing.
It is amazing. So every week we love to get comments from our viewers, and we love to post comments at the end of this episode from from viewers that we thought had awesome comments. And this week is no different.
Usually we are digging through the comments trying to find some little hidden gem. But this week, I think the top comment actually completely won.
Yeah.
So this is by Joachim Holgren. All vehicles sold 2025 will be electric. And then he posted a video. He says it's 53 minutes, but I assure you it's worth it. This is a video of Tony Seba.
Yep. And we've seen this video, and it is amazing. Tony Seba is an amazing. He's very inspirational. He has the same vision as Elon has, and you should watch it because it seems like in the first minute that you might be like, oh, this is some boring lecture, and then 53 minutes later you're like, wow, I can't get enough of that.
Yeah.
Many of you probably already know all this stuff and you probably already feel the same way, but it really, some of you may not, and some of you might not be aware of how this all interconnects. Tony does a great job of showing you the complete vision of how things have happened in the past and how it's going to change in the future.
Yeah.
It really is worth watching.
Absolutely.
All right, so every week we like to tell you about new superchargers that are going online throughout the world.
This week, oh my gosh, there are so many that are going online.
All right, let's get right to it. So the first are permits. So these haven't been started yet, but they've got the permit process going.
Awesome. All right, so let's start off Grantham, UK.
Verviers, Belgium.
All right, so then the next ones are under construction.
Okay.
So Monroe, Washington.
Brighouse North in the UK.
Warwick North, UK.
And Brighouse South, UK.
San Antonio, Texas.
And then the next ones are actually open now, and that would be in Woodall, UK.
Shanghai, Manpo Plaza, China.
Aire de Menesou, France.
Wow, this is a huge amount of superchargers.
I know.
I mean, they're just putting them online like crazy.
I know, it is crazy.
Hi, we're here in Wittenberg, Arizona, and we stopped here at the Tesla station. Just kind of show you what's around here. The Bashas Frontier Center, shopping area, the drugstore, Ace Hardware.
Thank you so much for watching this week, everybody.
Yeah.
We get all of our inspiration from you guys. So reading your comments, seeing all the positive comments, seeing all the new information that you give us, that is what keeps us going. What else keeps us going is also Patreon. That is how we can afford to do all the stuff that we do. So if you are thinking that you love the show so much, go over to Patreon, give us a couple bucks a month, and that really means a whole lot to us. We already have over 50 Patreon supporters, and we really appreciate all of you.
It's how we are able to afford to pay for editing, how we are
New computers
to do the editing on. I mean, we have a Mac right now that is just so
dying.
slow. Yeah, it's not doing so good.
So we got to build a new computer.
Yeah. So every little bit that you can do helps and helps bring the news every week. We also have all sorts of videos going on. We just got back from our Florida Keys road trip.
Yeah, you got to check that out.
That is on our channel right now. So if you haven't subscribed already, go subscribe. Go to our channel. Check out. We went all the way down to the Florida Keys from Massachusetts.
Didn't know if you could do that or
All the
not.
way to Key West. That is the southernmost point of the United States.
Maybe you can't
in
do
an
it.
electric car.
Maybe we couldn't do it. Maybe you'll
That's
find
true.
out that we didn't
might
make
have
it.
just taken a plane home.
You'll never know unless you watch.
Never know. So go check that out, and thank you so much for watching.
Now you know.